Welcome to Creating Wealth with Jason Hartman. During this program, Jason is going to tell you some really exciting things that you probably haven't thought of before and a new slant on investing. Fresh new approaches to America's best investment that will enable you to create more wealth and happiness than you ever thought possible. Jason is a genuine, self-made multimillionaire who not only talks the talk, but walks the walk. He's been a successful investor for 20 years and currently owns properties in 11 states and 17 cities. This program will help you follow in Jason's footsteps on the road to financial freedom. You really can do it. And now, here's your host, Jason Hartman, with the complete solution for real estate investors.
Welcome to the Creating Wealth Show. This is episode number 200, and this is your host, Jason Hartman. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today we are going to have a great treat for you for show 200. Obviously, that's an important number as we've been recording for many years and broadcasting the shows, and we will have The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind with Harv Eker, world-famous Harv Eker. So I hope you enjoy that. And before we get into today's show, just a couple quick announcements. Of course, be sure to join us for our predictions 2011 conference call, and that is Thursday evening. It's coming right up real quick, January 20th. You can register at jasonhartman.com, and I think you'll find that very enlightening. Our forecast book is out this year. It is the biggest ever, and I believe it is about 80 pages long, and we profile 30 different markets around the U.S. We do something extremely unique because we are the only ones out there who really profile income property in all of these markets based on its true multi-dimensional nature. We don't just talk about price increases or decreases as the case may be. We talk about the multi-dimensional nature of real estate, or income property I should say, so that you know how an investment is truly performing. And if you remember last year, one of the kind of odd stories we had is when we profiled Charlotte, North Carolina, a market that we predicted would go down in value in 2010, and you could actually make money by losing money, as it were, because the cash flow in that market was so desirable that even though you had price declines, you still would receive a nice positive return on your investment. So again, the multidimensional nature of income property, we're the only ones out there who profile it this way. We'll be talking about the forecast on our conference call on Thursday. I know that's short notice, but get on that. Go register at jasonhartman.com, click on store, then events, and you can register. And of course, while you're there, be sure to register for the Meet the Masters event coming up in March. That will be a phenomenal 3-day event here in Irvine, California. So, Harv Eker for show number 200. As you regular listeners know, every 10th show we do kind of a non-financial topic, but of course it always relates to our financial life in some way. And this show is no different with Harv Eker. One of the big things that really influenced me very positively in life was discovering Zig Ziglar, Dennis Waitley, Earl Nightingale, Jim Rohn, all of the sort of greats, and forgive me if I missed a name there because there are other greats as well, but those were the ones that really had a very profound positive impact on my life at a young age. I discovered them at age 17. And our mindset determines so much about our lives, doesn't it? I remember Earl Nightingale talking about how he discovered what he calls the strangest secret, which he discovered by walking into a bookstore on Michigan Avenue in Chicago and picking up a copy of the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And he said, if one was to grow rich, certainly it would come about as a result of thinking. So we become what we think about. And in James Allen's famous old book, As a Man Thinketh, just a fantastic tiny little book, sort of old-fashioned but brilliant nonetheless, he talks about how our thoughts determine our destiny. And Earl Nightingale and Napoleon Hill and all the rest, we become what we think about. Or as we think, so shall we become. Now, Harv Eker really explores that in the wealth concept, the money concept, and helps us keep our mind focused on abundance. And especially during, some would consider trying times like this, but someone would consider these very opportunistic times as well. It all just depends on how you look at it, doesn't it? But most people think the economy is bad and things are bad and it's just nothing but bad news out there. But for many, they see opportunity. And again, it's not the circumstances, it's the outlook, it's the worldview, it's the mindset, it's what we think about that determines the opportunities we see. Another thing that Earl Nightingale and Dennis Waitley taught me at a very young age is luck is what happens when preparedness meets opportunity. So many people like to sort of ridicule successful people by saying, oh, they were just lucky. Why didn't I invent Facebook? If you saw the movie The Social Network, the story of Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook and what an incredible thing that was. Well, Facebook wasn't exactly a complicated idea, was it? It's pretty simple, really. And, he executed on it, obviously, quite well. But look at that company. I mean, its valuation now is somewhere around, I think, $40 or $50 billion with its last round of funding it received. So that's an amazing thing. Well, other people might, in the movie, the people that claimed it was their idea, those two twin brothers, I can't remember their name offhand, they thought of it as just a Harvard thing, but it evolved into something much larger than that. So again, just an example of how our outlook, how our mindset affects the opportunities we see. And that is why it is so important. I'd highly encourage you to go to our website, jasonhartman.com. Of course, subscribe to the blog, take advantage of all of the free content there. But in addition to that, look at the properties section. Look at some of the properties that are available there and talk about opportunity. Interest rates right now are the lowest in probably anybody who is listening to this broadcast right now. It is the lowest in your lifetime. I would venture to guess that applies to every single person listening. Mortgage rates are the lowest they've ever been. So huge opportunity there. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac may go out of business. Okay, they've been in huge trouble, and many in the real estate world see that as a crisis. But I see it as an opportunity in a way. Now, it'll mean the end of the 30-year fixed-rate mortgage probably, because the reason we've been so lucky to have that in the United States of America is that since the Great Depression, back in the 30s, housing has really always been subsidized in this country. It has been subsidized by the government. So we've been able to take advantage in the States, and foreigners can invest in the States too, and take advantage of this. The 30-year mortgage that is a total rarity around the world. Okay, now it may have come and gone here and there in other countries, but really the mortgages are far and away the best in the States because it's subsidized by the government. So what happens if Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac go out of business? What if our new Congress decides, you know what? They're going to cut off the funding and let them die. Most people in the real estate world would say that is going to make prices decline further. And I agree, it will. However, I don't think it'll do it everywhere. I don't think it'll do it in the markets we recommend where you're already buying far below the cost of construction or below the cost of replacement. But guess what the opportunity is? And I want to make sure you're seeing it. The opportunity is that if Fannie and Freddie go out of business, or if they curtail their mortgage lending even more than they already have, what will that mean? Look at the broad picture. Yes, in markets like California and other overpriced markets, New York, some parts of Florida still even, Chicago, etc., many markets around the U.S. that are just overvalued. 16 of the 20 Case-Shiller markets, for example, that are profiled in our forecast book, and then 10 other supplemental markets that we profile. We will see in most of these big major metropolitan markets, we'll see prices decline if Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac go under. And I think that is very possible. May or may not happen, but it's certainly possible. But what will happen? Well, homeownership rates will drop. Remember, there are always counterbalances, always countervailing factors that don't correlate directly, right? So homeownership rates will drop because they will no longer be subsidized by the government, or at least not as directly as Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac have been. And then what will happen is more people will be pushed into the rental market. They will be unable to get these highly desirable mortgages that people in the States have taken advantage of for decades. And I think we will ultimately see rents skyrocket. So, what is the lesson here? The lesson is how you look at it, right? How you look at it. What is your mindset? What is your worldview? Is the crisis just a crisis, or is the crisis an opportunity? Does the crisis create an opportunity? Well, I say it does. I say that every crisis creates an opportunity. Even tragic things, tragic events do create opportunities. And there are all sorts of examples of that. So it's very important how we look at it. If you go to our website, if you go to jasonhartman.com and you click on the properties section, you will see properties you can buy today with cash or with a mortgage, and you can buy them for as low as about 28 to maybe 30% of construction cost. Many of these are really qualified as cash type assets. Many are qualified as mortgageable assets. But if we see Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac go away, that will mostly affect the markets that are largely credit-based, not cash-based markets. Atlanta, Indianapolis, those two markets, actually Phoenix now, come to mind especially, although we have many other great markets. But many of these properties are so inexpensive now in those markets that many of our clients are just paying cash for the properties, including yours truly. I just paid cash for another property that I bought in Indianapolis. And while I'd rather get a 30-year mortgage, some lenders don't even want to make mortgage loans for such small amounts. So there are just some things that investors are picking up with cash quite frequently. And in those markets, since the real estate investment is not largely credit-based, it won't matter as much what happens with Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. And of course, then there's the discussion I just had about moving into the renter pool and keeping people from home ownership and home ownership rates declining. Listen, home ownership rates declining, that's great news for a landlord. That's great news for us investors. So every crisis is an opportunity. What are you seeing? What is in front of you in your life right now that may be a huge opportunity disguised as a problem, disguised as a crisis? Think of that. That's why our mindset is so important. That's why it's so important to have the millionaire mindset. Now, one of the things also on this show that I think you'll see that's very cool, and you'll want to go at the end after listening to jasonhartman.com/offers. That's our website /offers. And T. Harv Eker kind of surprised me on this call, and he made a very generous offer to let any of our listeners come to his Millionaire Mind Intensive for free of charge. And I can't remember the price, but I think he's charging about, I don't know, $1,200 or something for these tickets. Can't remember. I think he says it in the show. Anyway, I think you'll like that and take advantage of that. But most importantly, keep looking for opportunities. I frequently say, and I'm sure we'll talk about it at the next Meet the Masters event in March, but I say that I am no longer an optimist. In fact, those of you listening, you could not accuse me of being an optimist, could you? No, I'm not an optimist. I'm an opportunist. And I want you to be an opportunist too, because the world right now is filled with opportunities, and they are really, really, really better than any time I've ever seen them in my lifetime. Being involved in real estate for 24 years now, I mean, wow. The opportunities are plentiful, and they are really the best I have ever seen them now. When I got into the real estate business, I remember everybody thought interest rates were such a great deal because they were coming down and they were only 14%. Yes, 14%. Everybody thought that was a great deal because they used to be 19%. So look at how low the rates are now. Just imagine with the inflation that is coming our way and the absolute mess they have made out of America and really out of the rest of the world too with this fiat money system that is on the verge of collapse. You lock in long-term fixed rate debt and you're going to put yourself in a very nice position. And when you've attached that long-term fixed rate debt to packaged commodities, the things that everybody on planet Earth needs. In fact, I just got back from Kansas City and from Aspen, Colorado. I was skiing there and hanging out with Mike Dillard, who you heard on the show, and some internet marketers and so forth there, and having a good time. And then before that, I was in Kansas City. And last night, I was in the airport. I think I was in Denver. Yeah, I was changing planes in Denver. And I picked up a copy of National Geographic. You know what? Go get this National Geographic, the current issue. I'm not normally a reader of that magazine, although I collected them as a kid, and boy, I've got a bunch of old ones. I don't think they're worth very much, though, but a lot of people apparently collected them. Anyway, I got a copy of it, and it talks about, on the cover, it says 7 billion. 7 billion with a B. And it talks about the population explosion and how this year, I believe it's this year in 2011, world population will hit 7 billion people. Now, in several decades, it's going to start to level off, and actually, I think we'll see possibly population declines. But for these next few decades, and I think that's about 3 more decades, we're going to see massive increases in population. And guess what? A lot of this increase, you know what's the next burgeoning upward mobility market, they say? Africa. several countries in Africa are really getting their act together, it looks like. And you know what that means? More people moving into middle-class lifestyle. And middle class has different meanings everywhere around the world, obviously. Middle class in New York or Tokyo or Hong Kong is not the same as middle class in Kenya, for example, right? But the point is that people are improving their standard of living in many countries in the midst of this economic crisis. And that means consumption increases. And remember, when you invest in packaged commodities, in other words, building materials, the ingredients that build a house, you don't need to care whether people are consuming those commodities in the United States or in China or in Africa or in Europe or in Brazil or wherever in South America, right? Because these commodities are globally traded on the commodities market. Copper, wire, petroleum products, concrete, glass, steel, lumber, even labor to some extent. And that's what you're buying. And you attach this 30-year fixed rate debt to it. And I have never in my lifetime seen a better time to stock up on these two things, because this is really the ultimate investing equation. So enjoy show number 200 here with T. Harv Eker. Again, we won't be talking about financial stuff super technically or directly. It's more about mindset and our outlook and our worldview as it relates to this. On our next show, number 201, we'll have Mark Kohler, and he also has agreed to speak at the Meet the Masters event. So we hope you join us for that in March, and we will be right back after this short message with the world famous T. Harv Eker on Secrets of the Millionaire Mind.
Every month, Platinum Properties Investor Network Incorporated conducts a conference call to educate its inner circle members on a relevant real estate investing topic in order to get you one step closer to the American dream of financial freedom.
Jason's forecasting ability is legendary, and he will offer jaw-dropping predictions of what is to come in 2011. He will share with you the studies, analysis, and predictions based on true economic reality rather than mainstream media hype. Jason offers the world's only income property forecast that accounts for the true multidimensional nature of income property investments. No other source offers this. It's totally unique and amazingly innovative.
Jason will discuss where the value of the dollar is headed, inflation predictions, stock market and commodity trends, unemployment and interest rate predictions, and a multidimensional estate market outlook.
He'll also share what other major economic and real estate companies are predicting for our nation's future, breaking down return on investment by market and the real cost of your necessary daily purchases.
Register this month to discover the necessary predictions for 2011 and beyond. This call is free for members and only $20 for non-members. Go to jasonhartman.com/store/events to obtain the date and time for the next call.
It's my pleasure to welcome T. Harv Eker to the show. He is, of course, the author, I'm sure you've heard his name, of Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, Mastering the Inner Game of Wealth. And he is a very well-known #1 New York Times best-selling author. And Harv, it is great to have you on the show. What an honor.
Hey, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. So there's a lot of negativity out there nowadays with this economy and so forth. And I recently revisited Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, and I have to admit I forgot a few things. I forgot how my wealth blueprint or my money blueprint from the past was influencing me, and just really enjoyed reviewing the material again. What should people be thinking nowadays?
Well, in general, I think that what people miss the boat on is they don't really recognize how important their thoughts are and what precedes those thoughts. And a lot of people look at like this whole idea of your thought patterns and the millionaire mind and mindset, and that's, all foo-foo and woo-woo and soft stuff. And, hey, that doesn't pay the bills. That doesn't, get me a real estate skills and how to make an offer, and it doesn't, to teach me how to get online and make money from eBay. And people are always looking for these outer answers, these vehicles that will give them their pot of gold. And let me just get everybody to start in the same place, if you don't mind, Jason. I think if you get a chance, if everyone gets a chance at some point in time, whether you're at home or in your office or not in your car, of course, but just simply draw a triangle with the point facing down. And on the left-hand side, put RK, and on the right-hand side on the top, put RV, and on the bottom point, put RY. So RK, what's that stand for? These are the three critical elements to success in any arena. And my philosophy is that there's only three. I mean, I've dared people for 20 years to give me more than three, and then once they see these three, they go, well, that's about it, I guess. You know, there's only three key things that you need. But if you miss any one of them, you have two, you're in trouble. And if you have four, you're overcomplicating things. So these are the three. RK stands for right knowledge. Right knowledge means the right business knowledge and general business knowledge, and right specific business knowledge. So in your case, since you're a real estate professional as well as many other things, it would be knowledge if someone's interested in real estate. And if they were looking at, for example, apartments in real estate apartments. So that's very specific business knowledge which you need. And you need real estate knowledge, and you need overall business knowledge, marketing, negotiations, finance, all that kind of stuff. On the right-hand side is RV, which means right vehicle at the right time. And this is where you get into the give me this skill for right now, the trends that are going right this minute, et cetera, and what's the car I'm driving? What is the vehicle? What is the business element that I'm promoting here and I'm serving people with? And then RY is the right you. Who are you? The right mindset, the right character, the right habits. And my specialty, of course, we work in all three areas, but I specialize in the right you, the right who you are. And the reason I do that is because, to me, after being in this business for 26 years and teaching everything from business to real estate to internet to health to everything, is on our stage because, we're one of the largest personal success training companies in the world. But I still come back to, after all this time, the number one thing, and if you don't have this handled, you will never succeed no matter what else you've got. And that is this number one thing. That's who are you? So what is your mindset? How do you think? What are your habits? Oh my gosh. What are your habits will either make or break your success. And what is your character? Who are you in character and virtue? And that is what I call the software element. So I believe that people overlook this software piece, and yet at the same time, if I ask someone, I say, how's your computer working? And they go, oh, it's really slow. It's got a bunch of viruses. I press R and P comes out. I don't know what it is. And I go, and they go, you know what? I think what I'll do is I'll just change the screen on my computer. That's going to take care of everything. Or I'll fix the R on the keypad, and I'll kind of, hit R a lot harder, and maybe it'll come out R instead of P. And that's what people are doing, Jason. They're constantly looking to the outside world and forgetting that it's the software that makes the hardware work. And your mind and how you think, especially about money, success, wealth, and yourself, will determine, again, your thoughts lead to feelings, lead to actions, and all that leads to results. So your results are sourced originally in your thought processes. And if you don't have thought processes that are supportive to wealth in any arena, there is no way you'll take those actions that are necessarily empowering you to success in that arena, and of course you won't get the results. So the long answer to your question is, how should people think? You should think in an empowering way about every single element that you're involved in your life. And I call this power thinking. And if you guys, everyone listening to this, can really get this, and that is that you have a choice. You have a what? You have a choice as to how you think every moment. Those thoughts bubble up in your brain, in your mind, and then you think those thoughts. But you are at choice. You must be aware of those thoughts coming through. You must observe every single thought that is coming through the channel of your mind and decide in that moment whether that thought is an empowering thought or a disempowering thought, supportive or not supportive to your happiness and success. So in the business game, in the real estate game, in the finance game, the way to think is supportive thoughts to success in that arena. And if you said, Harv, so many people are thinking the economy is so crappy, blah, 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 what do I do? I shouldn't do anything right now. The economy is crappy. I can't make any money. I have one question. Is that supportive to wealth?
No.
And the answer is, it's not.
Right.
It's not a supportive thought. So now the better question is, what are supportive thoughts towards wealth? And those become pretty obvious, as in, okay, well, it's a crappy economy, but it's a crappy economy for who and where? And the answer is, it's certainly not a crappy economy for me. And, what I believe is you have your own personal economy. One person's garbage is another person's gold. The other side of the problem is opportunity. We all know that. So where's the opportunity here? And is there one? And the answer is, if there is a problem, period, over and out, there must be an opportunity on the other side. Why is that? Because what people don't realize, Jason, is you get paid for solving problems. It is the only reason people give you any money is to solve their problem. So if there is a problem, there must be an opportunity on the other side of it. And in this case, there's dozens of them.
I'm so glad you brought that up as really our first point of discussion because, Harv, most people, like you say, they're working on the content rather than the context of their thoughts, the environment between their ears, which shapes everything in the world, doesn't it?
Well, of course it does. And here's the problem. Again, we said your thoughts end up leading to actions, and then that ends up leading to results. And the reason that the Millionaire Mind the book and the 3-day intensive is so powerful is because in the Millionaire Mind, what people say, I say to people, okay, so what's the source of everything? Everyone goes, your thoughts, right? And I go, no, it's not. It's not your thoughts. They go, well, Harv, you just said your thoughts was the beginning. Yeah, it's the beginning, but it's not the source. So what is the source? Is it God? Well, let's take a look at this. Why do you think the way you think? And especially, why do you think differently than other people? Especially, of course, if you're married to them, right?
Right.
But why do you think the thoughts you think? Have you ever considered that? And here's the answer. The answer is you were programmed, conditioned to think the thoughts you think. So take a look at the mind as this big old file cabinet, the same kind of file cabinet you'd have at home or in your office. And your mind is nothing more than a storage cabinet, a storage bin for every piece of information that's ever come your way. Why does it store everything? It stores it to protect you. Its job is protection. It's not to get rich and it's not to be happy. It's just to protect you. It's survival. It's a survival mechanism. Therefore, it stores everything to help you make better decisions in order for you to live and survive. So you have all this information, and let's say, for example, you have information that's been ingrained in you, installed in you, imprinted in you from the time you were very young about money. Remember, we come out of the womb completely empty. Then we get fed all this information from all kinds of sources, don't we? Parents, teachers, clergy, media, et cetera, culture, and we get all this information ingrained, and that shapes what's in our files in our file cabinet. So now the big problem that most people don't realize is what files are in your cabinet that you can choose from. So when the word money comes up, the word real estate comes up, the word duplex comes up, the word single family home comes up, the word internet comes up, the word wealth comes up, the word get rich quick comes up. What comes up for you? What is the file that is automatically pulled up? And the problem for most people, Jason, is the files they have stored in their own mental file cabinet are extremely unsupportive to success and very unsupportive to fast and long and permanent wealth. Very unsupportive of that. Why? Why? Because what was our culture like? What's most people's culture like? The world we live in is a world of no and not and negative and bad and death and killing and destruction. And so it's problem after problem after problem. So there's no wonder. There's 3 elements that we were taught. How were we programmed? Verbal programming. What did you hear when you were young? Modeling. What did you see when you were young? And specific incidents. What did you experience around money, success, wealth, and rich people when you were young? And for the most part, most people heard, modeled, and experienced crappy stuff. So what do you have in your mind? Crappy stuff. And the question is this, and that's what we call your money blueprint. How do you think and relate to money? And what most people don't realize is each of us has a personal money blueprint or inner money thermostat that is preset for a certain level of wealth. And until you change this money blueprint, first of all, it is what determines your financial life. It is the root cause of your financial life, the root of it. And until you change that, you will never, ever, 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 ever change your financial result. It doesn't matter if you go from foreclosures to to flips, to wholesales, to internet. It doesn't matter. All of that is peripheral. You keep on pressing R, and it keeps for rich, and it keeps on coming P for poor, M for mediocrity. No matter how hard you press it, no matter how many times. And you wonder what the problem is. The problem isn't in the what you're doing. The problem is in who you are. The file is in your mind and the character with which you act. And those things, thank God, we have some decent news, and that is that if you don't change it, it'll stay with you for the rest of your life, and that we can change that in a matter of 3 days.
So that's the next question, obviously. It just begs the question, Harv. Give people a clue, if you would, as to how they can reprogram that bad programming. Do they get rid of it? Do they replace it with something more positive? Do they just keep repeating affirmations to think positive thoughts? I mean, what do they do specifically?
Well, that's a great question, because I've sold, as you know, 1.6 million copies of Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. I think it's still number one in Taiwan. We're in 38 languages. I just got 4 books yesterday, one from Thailand, one from Arabia, one from Bulgaria, and another one from another place, I forget, but it's all over the world. And the interesting thing is that a lot of people change their lives just by reading the book. But for the most part, it's not permanent. It's not a permanent change. Why? Because it's not cellular. Without sounding like an obvious person trying to promote a course, and I apologize if I do, but I'm adamant about it, there's only one way to change your blueprint. Only one way on planet Earth. And that is, that I've found, and after being in this business for 26 years, and that is to go to this program called the 3-Day Millionaire Mind Intensive. And that's all we do. What we do there is a course that specializes, and what we do there is we actually change your money blueprint, change your inner money thermostat, and reset it, and we do that in 3 days. And you asked, how do we do it specifically? Well, first of all, remember you came in as an open book. You came as an open file cabinet, and then information was installed in you, and then you naturally took to some of that information and threw some of that information away that didn't fit with you. Well, the problem is that was then. And you probably are a very different person today than you were 20 or 30 or 40 years ago when you first got programmed around this. And so the question is, what kind of programming, what kind of conditioning, what kind of information do you want rolling around the files of your mind today, based on who you are today and who you want to be tomorrow? And so, yes, we open up the file cabinet at the course. We examine all of the file folders. Okay, so if you had a file folder in your house, a file cabinet, and you said, geez, I got to clean this thing up. First of all, I can't even get anything else into it. I'm dragging it around from house to house, off and on. Half the stuff is old and useless. What would you do? You'd open up the file cabinet. You'd open up each file. You'd look at it and say, is this pertinent today? Can I throw it out? Is this a good file for me right now? Is it a bad file? Do I even want this in here? And then you'd add some new files into the cabinet that weren't even there before. Well, guess what? That is exactly what we do. We open up the file cabinet. You do an assessment where you actually get to witness and analyze your own financial thermostat, what you're preset for right now, and what you will remain with for the rest of your life unless you don't change it. You analyze that, and then you decide what files you want to keep, what files you want to throw away, because you go, oh my God, these are terrible files. I want to get rid of these. Right? They're useless today. And then we get rid of those. We delete those, and then we introduce you to brand new files, and you go, yeah, that is a file that I would really love to have in my mind, and we install that in there. Or you might say to yourself, nah, that's not for me, and then it's not installed. Now, I've never heard of anybody in our program ever say, that's not a file I want, because every one of them obviously is a file that is preset to generate wealth and success and happiness. And by the way, if you don't have the happiness file with the money, see, that's a file. People have money or happiness. I'm going to say this again. People have money or happiness. That's their file.
They think it's a zero-sum game, like they can't have both. That's the programming, right?
That's the file for 80% of the people. It's one or the other. If I have money, if I go for money, then my happiness suffers, my time suffers, my family suffers, my health suffers. I'll be looked at as arrogant, or everybody will want something from me, or whatever. So money and happiness don't go together. So what they have, let me explain this, is they have two other files. They have money without happiness, or happiness without money. That's the files that drive them. That is a, as you say, zero-sum game. That will destroy your happiness, and it will destroy your wealth. So what'll happen, because you will know, you will say, oh my God, here's this great opportunity. And subconsciously, you'll go, wow, this is a great opportunity. But unconsciously, you'll go, yeah, but oh my God, it's going to take so much time, and I don't know if I want to start a whole new thing. And I got a young kid right now. I just want to spend more time with them. And plus, I don't know, I've got to move, and all of these buts start coming in here, and you don't even know where they're coming from. And here's the problem, Jason. To the person, they make perfect sense. Perfect sense. And they do make perfect sense. They're completely logical. And if you just talk to someone, they go, yeah, that makes sense. Bottom line, though, it doesn't make you rich, and it doesn't make you happy. So what's the use of it? It's a file that doesn't work, okay? Bottom line is this. You need to install a file that says, yes, I can be rich, and yes, I can be happy, and yes, they go beautifully together, and this is how they work so nicely together. And that's, thank God, we're able to do that for people.
Absolutely right. But you know what you didn't mention is put your hand on your head and say, I have a millionaire mind, right?
I have a millionaire mind.
I love that.
One of our declaration is I can have both. I can be kind, generous, loving, balanced, healthy, spiritual, and be really, really, really rich. All of it.
Absolutely, absolutely. When you started off with this, I kept thinking back to the fact that it seems like in the old days of motivational speakers, if you will, we had the greats. We had Zig Ziglar, we had Earl Nightingale, Jim Rohn, to the late Jim Rohn. They were sort of the philosophical, like the mindset people. They didn't talk really about specifics like go out and buy foreclosure properties, and here's how to do it. We've lost a lot of that. There are very few, other than yourself, that are really talking about how important mindset is, how important the philosophy, the environment, the mental game of success really is. Why is that, do you think?
I think it's very simple. You hit it right on the head. We're an instant gratification society, and people want to make money right this minute. And what they don't realize is that they're not going to unless they change the way they think. You can make money right this minute if you change the way you think. You can think long-term, short-term, anything you want. But the bottom line is this, is that, what I think people say, I have well over 1 million students all over the world, 104 different countries, and people, again, it's good to know your strengths and weaknesses, and I have plenty of weaknesses, trust me, but when it comes to what I'm decent at is people say I'm one of the best in the world at making the entire mind change technology very simple, very fun, and very permanent, and what we do with it is we put it towards wealth. Not my specialty is not relationships. My specialty is not physical fitness and all that, although the mind has plenty to do with that. My specialty is mind and money, mind and wealth. And yes, a lot of those other pieces better be in place, or else you're going to detract from your wealth of your life. One of the things we believe in is living your mission, living your purpose, living the marching orders that you were given when you came onto this planet, helping people and creating your wealth by doing so. And so people go, well, is that about purpose or is that about money? The answer is both. It's very hard to make money if you silo it. Let me just say this again. I want everybody to get one thing here. Money is a result. I don't know where you are, but repeat that with me. Money is a result. Wealth is a result, okay? So the question is it a result of what? And I said earlier, what people don't realize is that money is a result. We only get paid for what? Solving problems for people at a profit or for pay. That's what an entrepreneur is, a business person, a person who works in a job, a person who solves problems for people at a profit or for pay. So as I said earlier, what are we? We are problem solvers. Now, if you can get that through your head, the question becomes, how do you make more money? And the answer is what? Solve more what? Problems for more what? People. And now you have to be a bigger, better, stronger person to do that.
Absolutely. So solve more problems. I remember Zig Ziglar saying years and years ago that the bum on Skid Row and the most successful, the happiest, most well-adjusted person, they have one thing in common, problems. They've just learned how to deal with them differently, haven't they?
Absolutely, yeah. And I said the interesting thing about here is that unless you change, like the subconscious inner money thermostat, unless you change it, you're doomed. You really are. I don't like to say the word destined. Okay, I'll say destined, make people happy, fine. But literally you're destined. You're doomed to stay the same you are financially, give or take a few percentage points, for the rest of your life. Why is it that 99.999% of people, if they're poor, they stay poor. If they're middle class, they stay middle class. And if they're rich, they stay rich. Why is that? Because you have a inner money thermostat that is preset for a certain level of income, of wealth, of how you manage money, of how you handle money, of your investments, of your business, of how much you trust people with money. All of those things are your money blueprint, this inner money thermostat. And here's the thing. It'll stay with you for the rest of your life unless you go in and you make the change to it. And that's what we're very blessed to be able to do with this 3-day program called the Millionaire Mind Intensive, where we actually change people's money blueprint, inner money thermostat, right on the spot, right on site, right on the premises, right there that weekend. We don't teach you how to change it and then send you home to change it. Why? Because you won't. Why? Because we're creatures of habit. And there's two kinds of habits. There's doing habits, and just as importantly, there's not doing habits. And what that means is that everything you're not doing, you're in the habit of not doing it. So what's the use of sending you home with anything? You're not going to do it. So that's why we don't send you home with anything except for a brand new blueprint, which we do right there on the spot. And you have to bring yourself. You have to bring the computer in to get the R fixed from the R, so that it prints out R instead of P. Not just we got to get that software. We got to bring it in to the mechanic to actually bring the car in so he can look at it, take the part out, put the new parts in, and fix it right there. You have to physically be there for this to be permanent and work on a cellular basis, and that's what we do. We're able to work at the highest levels of brain change technology in a cellular basis, and the cool thing is it's fun. It's got tons of heart. People are laughing. People are crying. I mean, it is, for a lot of people, they say it's some of the best 3 days of their entire life. And you know that 87% of all of our business is done by strictly referral. We don't even ask people to refer. It's just people tell everybody they know once they've done the program.
Right. I've heard exactly those things from all the people I know who have been. And you know, Harv, the R for rich, the P for poor, that's what's on the keyboard. And you have people bring the computer in and you guys help them fix it on the spot, and rather than a how-to manual. So that's great. One of the big contributions I think you've made to this work, which I really love this part of your work, is the 17 ways rich people think and act differently from poor and middle class people. Can you share a few of those with us?
Yeah, in the book, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, we talk about the 17 different ways, and let me go through a couple of them. First of all, I think one of the bigger ones is that most people, rich people, successful people play the money game to win, while most other people play not to lose. See, most people, Jason, play the money game on defense versus offense. In sports, or any game you play strictly on defense, what's your chances of winning?
Not very good.
The answer is, yeah, slim and none. So most people's concern is survival and security. Their intention is to get enough to pay the bills, just get by, earn a decent living, and maybe, I just want to be comfortable. I just want to be comfortable here. I don't need a lot. I just want to be comfortable. And if I get a lot, hey, that's nice, but I'm not going for that. That's too hard and blah, blah, blah. Too much sacrifice is what they're thinking. But here's the problem. That becomes your intention. Just getting by, earning a living, survival, let me just make it, comfort, all that, it becomes your intention. And here's the problem. What your intention is the most powerful creative force in the universe, and your intention will come to fruition. And if your intention is to have enough to just get by or make a living, that's exactly what you're going to get, and not a dime more. See, rich people actually go for creating wealth. They're not interested in mediocrity. They're not interested in being comfortable. By the way, comfortable and rich are in opposite spectrums of the world of economy. So you think it's broke, it's poor and rich. No. Comfortable is the kiss of death to success. It is the kiss of death to success. You never get rich. You will never be highly successful at anything with the intention of being comfortable. Comfortable has nothing to do with growth. And that's the problem, Jason. Most people want to be comfortable instead of grow. But here's the thing. If you're not growing, you're dying. And I didn't make that up. That is a scientific fact on any living organism. Ask us, any scientist, okay, any biologist. If you have a plant at home, a flower at home, if it's not growing, what's it doing? It's dying. And here's my friends, I'm going to challenge you. I don't care where you are in your life at this point in time, but you need to be growing. You need to be going for full on. Just by going for the goal of wealth, of not $1 million, but multi-millionaire minimum. Like I say to my students, our minimum goal is $5 million net worth, minimum. And I don't care where you start, because where you start makes no difference. where you end up makes all the difference, okay? So everybody starts at a different place. But I'm looking for my students to go to a $5 million net worth minimum. Now the question is, what are you talking about, Harv? I'm 50,000 underground right now. I said it doesn't matter where you start. The intention is everything. And here's why. To have a $5 million net worth, Jason, you have to grow. You have to have an intention of growing yourself, your business, your willingness to help other people and solve problems. You have to be at your highest levels. So it's almost like being a gold medalist in the Olympics. If you're going to commit to that versus I'm just gonna like swim a pool a couple of laps a day and do a little exercise, and see, that's not going to help you grow. But if you said, my intention is to be a world-class swimmer and win the Olympic gold medal in swimming, well, now you've got to put forth the effort necessary to do that, which means you have to become the person that can do that. And so when your goal is high and large and major, you now are set on a course of growth. You will grow into that goal. See, the target isn't the goal. The target is growing you, but you need a target to grow into.
Absolutely. That's great advice. Let me take a brief pause. We'll be back in just a minute.
It only happens twice a year.
And the next Meet the Masters event happens on March 4th through 6th, 2011 in beautiful Orange County, California.
With our panel of experts, we're putting enough real estate brainpower in one room to make Donald Trump flinch.
Meet the Masters is a powerhouse education that can revolutionize how you think about money and wealth in totally unique and incredibly innovative ways.
You will learn the smart way to choose properties by market and micro-market, entity structuring for financial protection and privacy, how to grab every tax benefit the law allows and save on life's largest expense, how to put together the most creative financing package possible, the hidden power of the 1031 exchange, how to easily invest in dynamic growth markets outside of California.
You'll also receive one-on-one coaching from a professional real estate investment counselor. At Platinum Properties, no one falls through the cracks. We want you to succeed, and we're determined to do everything in our power to make that happen.
Will you be any closer to financial freedom in 1 year? 2 days can make all the difference if you simply have the courage to take action on your dreams.
The reality is that you can fire your boss and live life on your own terms sooner than you think. For more information about the Meet the Masters event and how to receive a $950 discount, go to jasonhartman.com/events.
You know, Harv, I just love these 17 things. One that I'd like to make a request that you just tell us about for a minute here is number 7. Rich people associate with positive, successful people. Because I think this is one we've all been guilty of at one time or another. Letting our friends bring us down, getting in the elevator and you push the up button, they push the down button, right? What are your thoughts on that one?
Well, it's very simple. Everything is one thing in the universe. Everything is energy, right? And so all energy affects all other energy. Hey, again, I didn't make that up. I think a gentleman by the name of Mr. Einstein had something to do with that. All energy affects all other energy. So one of the things I teach my students is we have very, very powerful programs, but people don't realize is that at all points in time, I'm going to say this, and I hope people don't take it wrong, because my students understand where I'm coming from, and I say to my students, listen, I'm not there to be your friend. I'm there to be your best friend. Your friend won't tell you. Your best friend will tell you. And it's very simple, my friends. Listen closely. At all points in time, and you should write this on your forehead, at all points in time, you either affect people or you infect them. I'm going to say it again. You either affect people or you infect them. You either bring them up or you're bringing them down. There's no homeostasis. There's no middle ground. It's either up or down. That's the way it works in any living organism, up or down. So it's grow or die. So you either affecting them to the positive or infecting them to the negative. Bottom line is this. If people are bringing you down, number one, you need to create a much more solid mind frame and powerful mind that we work with, the Millionaire Mind, so that you can offset their negativity and have a bit of a shield against it. Number two, you need to be able to recognize what they're doing not criticize them, not judge them, not degrade them, because that will put you in the same place as they are, all right? Put you down to their level. But recognize that they are coming from their own mindset, their own programming, their own money blueprints, their own success blueprints, which are really poor, and all they can utter from their mouth is what's going through their brain, and that just comes from programming. So look at them literally as a robot who's been programmed to say what they're saying because they're thinking what they're thinking. They're coming from their own fears, their own beliefs, their own concerns about you or their own philosophies, and the only thing you have to decide is this: are they really rich and really happy? And if they are, I would recommend you take advice from them. And if they're missing one of those two, then do not take advice from them. Just say thank you, smile, say thank you for sharing, and know you're talking to a broke person. Know you're talking to a broke person's mindset. And it's not even them. It's their blueprint that's coming out of their mouth, okay? When I have thousands of people in my seminar room, I don't degrade them for having a crappy blueprint. I look at them and go, wow, they are a robot. They were programmed with this information. That's what they think. This comes out of their mouth. This then becomes their actions. No wonder they're not doing as well as they'd like to be doing financially. I don't degrade them. I don't judge them for any negativity. You know, it's the same with money relationships. Well, we must save, Jason, about 3,000 relationships a year at least, okay, because of the numbers of people that we work with. But so many people have problems with money and relationships. You know, the number one cause of breakup is financial. And so when you have a relationship with somebody and your issue and you're arguing about money, you're not arguing about money. You're arguing about your two blueprints are arguing. So you have a blueprint, they have a blueprint, and the two blueprints are arguing. The two people are sitting there watching.
Right, yeah. The blueprints are arguing. That's a great way to look at it.
So listen, do not, and people say all the time, Harv, these programs are the best programs I've ever been to in my life. How do I get my husband or my wife? I can't get them to come. I want my son to come. These are life-changing. I don't know why they won't listen, they won't come. I got to force them to come. I go, don't force anybody to go anywhere. First of all, they're going to put up defense mechanisms, and they will definitely not go. They'll dig their heels in. Secondly, don't try to talk anybody into anything. Why don't you just be the model? Instead of yakking about it, be the person who starts becoming successful, a better person, internally, growing mindset, growing character, growing your finances, starting to see results in your life. And then, in my experience, those people start to ask you, they go, wow, like, you're a different person. Look what's happening. I'm doing crappy. You're doing good. Well, what changed? And you could say, well, I went to this Millionaire Mind Intensive. I've asked you a couple of times. I kind of let it drop for a while until you're interested. If you are, I can tell you where to go. And if you're not, that's okay too. I still love you, you know. So, you know, let them be the model. Be successful yourself, and then you can start talking about it.
That's an inspiring example. Well, Harv, this is great information, of course. And tell us just a little bit more. Maybe you want to wrap up with some final thoughts on this, and tell us before that a little bit more about the course, the Millionaire Mind Intensive.
Yeah, the program is world class. I mean, this is probably the premier personal financial development program on planet Earth. And the reason I know that is because we do this in 14 cities in North America. We do this in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, Singapore, Melbourne and Sydney, and Brisbane, Australia. We do it in London, England. In April, we're going to Germany, Italy, Spain, and the Netherlands. In September, we're going to Taiwan. Next January, we open 14 provinces in China, and it's all word of mouth. So, you know, things that are bad don't get spread around the world like wildfire, okay? And you go, well, how come I haven't heard of it? I don't know who the circles you travel with. Maybe you have heard of it and you weren't ready for it. But let me say this. I believe there's no accidents in the universe, Jason. And if someone is listening to this right now, it is their duty. It is their message. There's no accidents. Your message is your time to start to do what you need to do financially and get out of the struggle and start making life a lot easier and much quicker on the financial side of it. And that is only possible if you have a money blueprint that is set for high levels of success, an inner financial thermostat that is preset for wealth and success. It's kind of like a Donald Trump. He thinks in ways that create wealth and success. Now, he also has, you have other blueprints too. I think his relationship blueprint's pretty good. His parenting blueprint's pretty good. I don't think the way he is, his demeanor of his arrogance, blah, blah, that blueprint I don't like, okay? I don't personally. But you know what? Let's just model the one that's good, right? The one that, let's just take, when he looks at something, he looks for the opportunity and boom, he's on it. Like, it's not because he has money that he makes money. It's because he thinks money that he makes money, okay? And that's the way we have to have a natural blueprint that's set for success. And in this 3-day Millionaire Mind Intensive, as I said, we actually change your money blueprint right on the spot. You walk in with one blueprint set for one level of success. You walk out with a brand new money blueprint, financial thermostat set for a brand new level of success. And here's the thing. The key is that the change is permanent. That's why we need you there. It's permanent. We actually restructure let's call it the neurological pathways, the dendrites. We blow out the garbage. We high-impactly blow in the good stuff so that it just resonates with you, and it's all stuff that you want. And proof of the pudding is that, and hopefully everyone will forget this part, when we start with an assessment of your financial thermostat, and you get to see with 80 questions basically what your financial thermostat actually looks like. You get to write it out. Then 3 days later, we give you back the same sheets to fill out, but this time they're blank again, and now you get the chance to see what you are like today and how you really believe, what you really think today, and how you feel about things. And when people fill out this on the third day after the course, and we say, okay, now go back to the day one and see if there's any changes. Jason, you've never heard people laugh this loud in their entire life. They cannot stop laughing uproariously. They cannot believe what they wrote 3 days ago. They cannot believe that they wrote those words, that they checked yes to those questions, that came out of their brain, because it's so far-fetched now. They look at it as, man, no wonder I wasn't doing well for that. No wonder I was earning 80 or 100 or 200,000 a year or whatever. No wonder I wasn't earning $1 million a year. No, look at this. Look, this is a broken blueprint here. This is a financial thermostat set for 20 degrees instead of 100 degrees. It's obvious. We are blessed to have, we're the only people with this technology, with this methodology, with this strategic way of putting people through these exercises that are fun, exciting. You're going to meet great people and make fantastic contacts. And best of all, you will walk out of there a different person, not only in the way you think and feel about money, but the way you think and feel about yourself and about your life. And when you feel differently about yourself, everything changes. And you're going to go, well, I feel pretty good about myself. Yeah, really? That'll be depicted in your financial situation right now, won't it? So, and you're deserving this. So, this is not a foo-foo seminar by any stretch. We do actual world-class processes to actually change the dendrites in your mind on an automatic level, and we delete programming that is not workable, we replace programming, and we install programming, the programming that you wish you would have had when you were young, but now it's never too late. And people, all you can go is by the results, and the results are the results are the results, and all I can tell you is that people make radical changes in their income, in their net worth, and how they feel about money and their relationships with money. Everything around it changes by Monday morning.
That's amazing. We've got a couple of links we want to give out, first of all. One of them is jasonhartman.com/offers, where we're going to set up some special stuff that you're offering and more information about you and the links for this.
So, this program used to be $1,295 per ticket for the 3-day event. And recently, because of economic conditions, just to help people out, we dropped the pricing to $795. You can see that on the internet. It's right there. And what I want to do for your constituents, for your students, for the people who listen to your stuff, Jason, we talked about this earlier. We've worked on this arrangement for quite a while, as you know, and we finally said yes and put this together. So everybody listen up. Listen closely, because Jason has arranged for you guys. It's not going to be the $1,295 or the $795 a ticket. Listen to this. You are coming to the entire 3-day Millionaire Mind Intensive complimentary on us. It's a gift. Jason has arranged with our team to give you the gift of the Millionaire Mind Intensive. The entire 3 days, you're going to get 2 tickets, complimentary seats, general seating tickets to the entire 3-day Millionaire Mind Intensive on us. And I'm hoping that, Jason, you should be getting inundated with emails thanking you for the gift. And that'll be the first time. And then what's going to happen, Jason, is after they go to the event, and after a month or two or even less than that, you're going to get inundated with more emails thanking you for, my God, this is the most amazing thing that's ever happened to me. So we're going to give everybody a gift right now of the 3-day Millionaire Mind Intensive. You're all coming to the event, and you're all coming on us. The only thing we ask is, first of all, we ask for a $100 no-show deposit. This is very simple. When you register, you put down $100 with your credit card. Actually, it never gets charged. It's just on hold. And here's the way we work it. So if you come to the event, there's absolutely no charge, and it never gets charged because it's a gift to you. If you can't come and you can't make it, and you let us know, you have the decency, the courtesy to let us know that you can't make it, then there's no charge whatsoever. However, if you register and you don't show up and you don't even have the courtesy to let us know you can't make it, and the seat goes empty that we could have sold to somebody else, and now the seat goes empty, then unfortunately you're a little bit rude, and you deserve to get dinged for $100, okay? That's the simple answer.
That's the holding fee, and that's well worth it. Yeah. No, I agree, because nowadays people they tend to be a little flaky sometimes, and they got something for free. I mean, you can't beat free, right? That's a phenomenal offer, so they should at least have the courtesy to call.
So everyone's coming on us. They're general seating tickets, but there is another special offer that I'd like to put for people here, and it's a few dollars, but I think you're going to see the value in it, and I can tell you that if it was me, and my students and my children and my best friends, this is the way I would go. And listen closely to see if it's right for you. It's our VIP package, and the VIP package is extreme. Includes a VIP seat, which means that you get to sit front and center. And again, all energy is transferable, so the closer you sit to the front, the more energy you get. You also get the entire Millionaire Mind Intensive workbook, which is really critical because it's a fill-in-the-blank of the entire course right there and there, which means you don't have to sit there trying to write notes every 2 seconds. You can pay attention. You can do the exercises, etc. Everything is already there. You just fill in a couple of blanks. You get a copy of my special edition of my New York Times #1 bestseller, Secrets of Millionaire Mind, which is autographed. You get the Secrets of the Rich 10-CD collection, which is my favorite. That's why this is in this package, where I've interviewed some of the wealthiest people on earth, and my interviews are very cut and dry. I mean, I really get to the heart of things. There's billionaires on there, and the questions you'll hear are very, very pertinent and gives you some of the greatest secrets I've ever heard on creating wealth. And here's the big thing I just added to it. You get the entire 3-day Millionaire Mind Intensive course on CD. And what that does is, again, I'm not going to pull any punches. This is real stuff. It's all based in nature. We're all creatures. It's all the laws of nature. We're all based in the laws of nature. And so what this is that, when you go to the event, we're going to pull out some of the roots and seeds that have not been working for you. We're going to install some brand new seeds and roots in that create wealth for a change and success. But like anything else in nature, when you install and when you plant new seeds or roots, what happens? Well, yeah, they're great. You put them in there, but you do need to fertilize them a little bit. You do need to nourish them. You do need to water them, give them some air, some light, something, yes? So I would encourage you to review the course at least one time during the entire year and put that in your car or put it download on your iPod and just listen to the course at least one time. Some people do it 2 times for the year just to keep on watering the fantastic roots and seeds that we put in there, and you'll see your success will quadruple just because of it. So that's normally $800 by itself, and we're including that plus a Q&A session with the trainer at the course. So that package is actually worth over $1,295, actually much more. And the entire thing, and that's what we get, by the way, every day. We sell this online, internet, all over the world, every day for $1,295. Again, because you're with Jason and this group over here, we're going to let you have the entire package for $297.
That's fantastic.
By the way, the seats alone, not even included in this, the seats alone are $1,000 just to upgrade to VIP. So it's $297. And the reason I would encourage everyone to do it, and this is the reason, it's not the money. We lowered the price dramatically. This is lower than our cost price. This is an FYI. Just if you start to see all the stuff, just the printing alone and the copying alone of the stuff is more than that. But you'll see why we did it.
I know that free is lower than your cost, so that's for sure.
Exactly. So,
and even $297.
Jason, this is the reason I believe all of the people listening should go VIP. And again, you don't have to. You're coming on us complimentary. But here's why. At all points in time, we are giving messages to other people. Remember, you affect or infect everything. You are, at this point in time, going to give a message to the universe. The universe is going to reflect back the message that you give it. Now, you might think, oh, my God, is this ever foo-foo now? All right, fine. You can take the greatest tool you have and throw it away. It's up to you. But for me, I like to use all my tools, and my intention and my declarations and my messages to the universe are the biggest tool that I've got. And it seems to have worked really well for me and literally a million of my students. So that's all I can tell you. When you decide you're going to go VIP and register for the $297, you are saying, declaring to the universe, I am a VIP. I am a very important person. And the universe is then going to reflect that back by treating you and aligning with you elements that a very important person would have and get and be. So the universe is now going to start to treat you as a very important person. On the other hand, you say to the universe, no, I'm not a very important person. I'm a general masses person. I'm like everybody else. Then the universe will go, fine, that's all right. That's not a problem. I love you, and I will treat you like a not very important person and like everybody else, like the general mass public, and that's what I'll treat you as. And so I don't care about the $297. In fact, we lose money on it, so it makes no difference to me. But for you, I would encourage you, and that's why we made it so cheap, to say, you know what? I'm going as a VIP. I'm going to sit in the front and center. I'm going to get all the VIP goodies. I'm going to have the VIP badge. I'm going to feel like a VIP. When everyone else is over there with a regular name tag, I'm going to have a VIP name tag. I'm going to have the VIP sessions. I want to be a very important person. I am a very important person, and I'm going to show that and declare it, not by just thinking it or stating it and go, yeah, I am, but by showing it in my action and say, I'm going to this course as a VIP. And we made it so cheap that everybody could do it. So do what you want, go VIP or not. You're all coming to the course, and no matter how you come, you're going to get an immense life-changing event out of it. But I'm just telling you my philosophy, and all I can tell you is I have over 1 million students. They seem to follow what we say because it works.
Excellent. Well, T. Harv Eker, author Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, Mastering the Inner Game of Wealth. Thank you so much for sharing this wisdom with us today, and thank you so much for the free offer and the very, very discounted VIP offer for our listeners. So that's just fantastic, and we will look forward to seeing you there. Everybody listening better go, because you can't beat this deal. There's nothing better than free and ultra discounted VIP. So we really appreciate the generosity today, too.
Awesome. Fantastic. Hey, thank you so much. So everyone knows where to go to their website?
Absolutely, yes. It's jasonhartman.com/offers.
And guys, if anybody's thinking, oh, I don't know if I should go, let me just say this right now. That is not a blueprint set for financial success. That voice that says that mindset that says, I'm not sure, I'm busy, the travel, this, that, I don't have, that is right now going to destroy your entire financial life right this minute. Those words, again, there's no accidents in the universe. If you have got this opportunity in front of you, take it. Take it. Why? Because, and you know what? When you start looking at the universe's gifts and saying, nah, forget it, the universe, you know what you're doing? You're training the universe not to give you any more gifts. You're training it. So that's all I can tell you, okay? Until you go to this course, you won't see the power of it and yourself, and you'll see it very quickly in this program. Everything will begin to change for you. This is the root cause of financial success, mediocrity, or failure for the rest of your life. You just choose which way you want to play it.
Excellent. T. Harv Eker, thank you so much. Awesome job today.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Jason.
This show is produced by the Hartman Media Company, all rights reserved. For distribution or publication rights and media interviews, please visit www.hartmanmedia.com or email media@hartmanmedia.com. Nothing on this show should be considered specific personal or professional advice. Please consult an appropriate tax, legal, real estate, or business professional for individualized advice. Opinions of guests are their own, and the host is acting on behalf of Platinum Properties Investor Network, Inc. exclusively.